out of all of my impromptu shootings, this is probably the most, like, improv one. I'm not even wearing my shirt. I'm just excited. This is the Iron Giant, which is one of, if not my most favorite movie I have seen from my childhood. This is a movie that has stuck with me for most of my life. And still to this day, when I watch that movie, I just feel like a kid, and I feel the emotions that I felt watching the movie. So today, when I walked down the toy aisle of my local Walmart, I was just awestruck by the fact that on the shelves was this toy of the Iron Giant. I cannot stress how amazing this movie is. I cannot stress how inspirational this character was, because growing up, I find that many of my robots that I design for animated shorts or for my own work outside of comics reflect the Iron Giant in his design and his art form. And it's just such a amazing story, beautiful animation, and the design of the Iron Giant is so iconic. You just see this silhouette, you know it's the Iron Giant. And it's just an amazing, truly amazing movie. And if you have not seen it, I don't just recommend, I implore you. I'm using big words. I have to say, you have to see the Iron Giant. There are very few movies that I tell people you have to see. The Iron Giant is one. It really made an impact on my life. And seeing this on toy shelves, I had to have this. I had to pick this up for my collection. This is just, it brings parts of my childhood back, because the only action figure I had of the Iron Giant was the little one that was included with the VHS, but I lost it. And, you know, this isn't just me liking the Iron Giant. A lot of people like the Iron Giant, but it was also my best friend Taylor's favorite movie as well. And we would watch the Iron Giant together, and we felt like little kids. So it is not only just important to me, but it's also important to my best friend. And I just love this movie, and I thought, let's do an impromptu video, me unboxing this thing. So I have my little box here, which comes with my X-Acto knife. I don't know why it was open. I'm actually kind of concerned. But we're just going to open it up, and I'm going to give my first impressions of it. So let's see. Got some tape on the side. He does have lights and sounds. So let's see if I can get a few to play. And then you can open his chest, and it reveals the internal components of how he's a war machine. Alright, looks like it didn't change the sound effects. Oh, it's one of those. Yeah, it's gonna be worth it. Hold up. So he should, yep, come off pretty easily. Oh, that's cool. I just noticed on the inside packaging, if you look, it's actually a scene from the movie where it's at night and he's exploring the forest, and you actually see the Iron Giant right there. That is a nice touch. And this piece is stuck here. I don't know what this is. The clamshell fits in here pretty well. You can easily pull it out. But on the back, and the part I was complaining about was it's not twist ties, which are easier to undo. No, they're the weird stretchy peg ones. I don't know if it's because they're cheaper to produce, but a lot of toys have been using them. I don't like them. Just give me a twist tie that I could untie and reuse. But not bad. I'm impressed with the little detail back there. So the packaging on this dude's pretty good. And then here's the actual Iron Giant. And he's got wheels. Looks like he has a few. Okay, so this is walk mode. That's cool. Turn that off. So he didn't come with any instructions. Now he's packaged with his arms facing forward, but we can fix that like that. First off, hands, gorgeously detailed. It's got the little joints. Oh, his hands are the other way. There we go. So you gotta switch them so the screws are facing the inside. First off, he looks, and mine's got a little, you didn't even see that. Mine has a little dent right there, but oh well. he looks just like the actual animation model. Now, what's really fascinating about the Iron Giant in terms of its animation history is that the Iron Giant itself was 3D modeled. He was actually a 3D modeled character that interacted with 2D characters. But what made him blend in so well was that he was textured like a 2D cartoon. And for years, I had no idea he was actually a 3D model. And it wasn't until finding the information and re-watching the movie, and of course, combined with my knowledge of animation, studying it, it really just blew my mind that for years I thought he was an actual 2D drawn character, but no, he's 3D modeled and he looks just like the model. I'm sure there's a few discrepancies and the paint job is scarce, so he's not super detailed, but he looks very nice. Now, he doesn't have the bump on the head. I'm okay with that. I'm sure some people would complain about it. And then some of these pegs here aren't fully painted, these little rivets. So 2 of those, one on each side, actually isn't fully painted, but I can fix that. That kind of is a shame though. But again, $20 for a figure this big with lights and sounds, that's amazing. For comparison, this is the new McFarlane Batman figure they released, specifically their Detective Comics 1000 variant. And this figure costs the same amount of money as this figure. Now, granted, he does have more pieces and he is far more articulated with different variants of plastic, as he has soft plastic for the cape, a stand, a batarang, and a grapple gun. The Iron Giant, however, has less moving components but makes up for it with lights and sounds and his sheer size. This is a really nice figure. It's not too big and not too small. Now, I am aware that Iron Giant toys did exist when the movie came out. However, I actually didn't learn that until years later. Not because my parents couldn't afford the toys or that they couldn't find them, they didn't know they existed. For some reason, when I lived in Tampa, Florida, the Iron Giant toys didn't make it to the market there. So my parents had no knowledge of the toys existing, so I didn't grow up with the toys, and it wasn't until I was a teenager going on the internet that I found out that the Iron Giant had action figures and toys. Now, I'm bringing that up mainly because those toys are a little more articulated, they don't have a walking gimmick, and they also have his transformation. The Iron Giant famously had a war mode. The war mode is replicated by this chest gimmick with lights and sounds, which is really cool. I don't know if they used actual clips from the movie, but it does sound a lot like Vin Diesel, so I don't know, I'm not 100% sure. The head isn't articulated, that's kind of sad, but it has lights and sounds, so that kind of makes sense, and his mouth doesn't move. I kind of wish his mouth moved. I do want to track down those figures. His arm articulation isn't that good. He's got some elbows, he's got wrists, and then he has no leg because of the walking gimmick. So let's show that off one more time. So we just flip this switch on the back. That's pretty cool. Now, looks like the battery compartment is on the feet. I'm going to remove those to see if there's actually any switches in the back. Maybe that he's in display mode and we need to change him to the actual play mode. And again, on the other foot, there are just some glue strings, but there's no switch. So I guess he only has those 2 modes. Now, the packaging did show him with red eyes, so I'm wondering how do we achieve that? But let's re-screw this leg on first. Alright, so referring back to the packaging, it says chest opens, eyes light up red. Let's try that again. Maybe we need to hit a switch. There we go. Let's try it one more time. Interesting. So it looks like the switch has to be set to walking mode to use the light up effect of this button right here. This is the part where he actually releases he basically has a weapon that can blow up a spaceship. Like, it can blow up it has the force of a nuclear bomb. And it's really impressive how they animated the energy effect. I mean, it's just such a good movie. I don't want to spoil it too much because I implore you to see this movie. But part of what I like about the Iron Giant was that, and this is spoiler territory, but so if you don't want to be spoiled, just skip. You know what? Forget it. I ain't even going to tell you. This is a movie that's 20 years old that you should have already seen. Too bad. The part of the Iron Giant I love is that basically he's an alien robot that falls to Earth. I know you're getting Transformers vibe, but just ignore it. But he was basically built as a weapon. But when when he lands on Earth, he hits his head, and you get this dent in his forehead that's with him throughout the whole movie. And you find out that he is a weapon. He's built as a weapon. And part of the theme of the Iron Giant is, you are not a gun. And I don't like how they, say guns are bad, but they kind of touch on both sides. But what I love is that they basically say, like, look, the reason you are made doesn't say who you are. You are built as a weapon, but you are more than a weapon. And I love that theme of the Iron Giant. It is such a good movie, and the fact that they talk about some heavy stuff. They talk about death. They talk about the war, the consequences of nuclear warfare. I mean, like, they really do, not super in depth, but they address these themes in a way that I feel like a lot of Disney movies just wouldn't and refused to at the time. And the animation quality is so good, the storytelling is so good. It's a movie, I love this movie. And this figure is not a perfect representation of the Iron Giant, but it is an amazing representation of my childhood. And I am happy to have this in my collection. I wish it was better. I wish it was more articulated. I wish it did more of the transformations and more of the folding out stuff that he does in the movie. But, and this is a big but, for $20, for just a $20 figure that's pretty big with lights and sounds, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with getting this. And I will definitely be tracking down the original Iron Giant figures because it's just is such an important part of my childhood, and I'm glad I at least have a representation of it in plastic form. So, I don't know who are making these. I believe it is Gold Lock. So, Gold Lock's good job. You have done an amazing job. For $20, I'm not going to complain. This is a good figure for 20 bucks. And I saw some other robots. So, they had, I forget the name of the robot. It's the one from like Planet 9 or something. The famous one, Robbie the robot that has like the antenna thing. And they also have the robot from Lost in Space. So those are two famous movie robots. So, those three are pretty cool. And so it's 60 bucks for all of those. But, the Iron Giant, this is enough for me. This is a movie that has influenced my life and my artistic design still to this day. And I'm happy I have this. So if you like the Iron Giant, I have to say this is a must-have, And if you haven't seen the Iron Giant, go see the Iron Giant. Now the only thing I need to do is figure out where to put it in my collection. I did it.